All right, guys, sorry we're getting a little bit of a late start. I had some technical difficulties. Today, we are going to turn an executive, we're going to turn a sweet gum pod pen blank, and we're going to put it on an executive kit. So, this is the prepped blank. I've got a few other blanks here as examples. These are what the blanks look like when they are cast. I have a couple of these color schemes still. I have, I think, 2 or 3 of these ones. That this is the one that we're actually turning tonight. So we'll be doing that. And then here's another example. I've got, I think, 1 or 2 more of these. So those are just examples of what we'll be turning tonight. The reason I'm turning this one tonight is I'm getting ready to be a demonstrator at a virtual pen turners gathering. That is facebook.com/virtual gathering if you're interested in that. So we'll be turning this one as the example tonight. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. This pen is a 3/8 inch. It requires a 3/8 inch drill bit. It's an executive pen kit from PSI, but I got my kit from Ched Schimmel over at Turner's Warehouse. So I'm going to get set up here in just a second. Change out the Jacob's chuck for the dead center, and then we'll take our chuck out. We are turning between centers tonight, so we are not going to use a mandrel, at least for the turning portion. We'll be turning between centers. Just prepping a couple things here real quick. I don't stabilize the sweet gum pods, but I do stabilize all my wood burls. I haven't had an issue yet with sweet gum pods, but there are some people who do, some people who don't. I haven't stabilized them. I also haven't stabilized my pine cone blanks either. I haven't seen the need for it yet. I'm gonna move us I'm gonna move the camera just a tad. I'm gonna move us over here. Bear with me. There we go. All right. Gotta make sure that I have my belt on the right setting to turn. Make sure we're sitting pretty, that looks pretty good. Tommy, what's up, buddy? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start turning. When I turn, I crank the speed up, probably somewhere between 3,500 RPMs and 4,000 RPMs. Um, I'll try and check out the chat occasionally when I stop to check the progress, but other than that, let's get turning. Just want to make sure that we're nice and tight here real quick. Here we go. Adjust my tool rest just a touch. We're not quite round yet, but we're getting there. All right, guys, we're just stopping for a second to check progress. I'm checking comments real quick. Picked up an Atlas lathe. A few more parts for it. Hey, James. Hey, guys. Looks like fur coming off the blank. This is Alumalite Clear Slow with Divine pigments from Braxton Frankenberry. It's these are sweet gum pods that are in the blank. Okay. So let's go ahead and keep working through this. Just making sure this is a fairly new tool. I got this. This is the Negative Rake magical skew from T-Shadow. I've been using this a little bit, so I'm still learning it, still getting used to it. So that's why it's taken me just a little bit of time. Thanks for hanging out on this Tuesday night. We're gonna continue to turn this blank, and let's go. So this is going to be a pretty good looking pen. I did get a little bit of a catch right here, but that's where the sweet gum pod is. There are some voids when you cast these, so sometimes you do have to fill them with CA as you go. It's not too bad right now. We've still got quite a bit of meat on there, so I'm not worried about it yet. But we will continue to turn. We are making pretty good progress here. One thing I'm noticing is I'm used to turning with a longer handle, and I do have a medium handle for the magical skew. I just have the short one on there for today. I'm getting used to that, so that's something I'm learning as we go today. Todd, what's up? Yeah. All right, let's keep going. sorry guys. Pro tip: use a junky toothbrush to clean your shavings. That way, if you get a catch or something, toothbrush goes and not your fingers. All right, getting closer. Keep turning. All right, guys, we're stopping just another quick minute just to check our progress. We're still working down to the bushings. While I've got the lathe off, I'm gonna talk to you just a bit. There is a virtual pen turners gathering happening if you're interested. If you go to facebook.com/virtual gathering, VIRTUAL gathering, GATHERING. You can like the page. You do have to register there's a Google form there, but it's absolutely free. So if you want to check that out, that's going to be Sunday, May 17th. I will actually be doing a demo on casting either blanks like this, these sweet gum pod blanks, or I will be doing pine cones. So I will have examples. This will actually be the example pen for that show. So that's why we're turning this now. I'll have an example of one of my pine cone blanks turned, and then we'll do some casting. So that's facebook.com/virtual gathering. Like the page, and if you're interested, you can sign up for free. If you sign up to attend for free, you'll be eligible to win door prizes. Is there a learning curve to the magical skew versus a regular carbide tool? Not necessarily. I mean, I think because this is new to me, I'm learning it because I'm used to a handle that is this long versus this long. So this is the tool I've been using. So I'm learning it. I'm more comfortable with a handle that's a lot longer, and you can actually see how much longer this tool is versus this tool. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. It's just I'm just trying to learn the tool a little bit. And the difference between this tool and the tool I just showed you, you can see right here, this cutter is slightly angled, whereas this cutter is straight across. So you can see the difference there. But there might be a slight learning curve, but for me, it's just a matter of tool size. Because the other one I use frequently is this homemade carbide cutter. I put an Easy Wood tool, round carbide negative rate cutter on there, and again you can see just how much shorter the tool that I've been using is versus the tools that I have traditionally used. So, and it's not a knock against this, it's just a different tool, it's a different size, which is why it's taken me a little bit to get used to it. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with it. Todd, yeah, virtual pen turners gathering. So if you guys are interested, check that out. You do have to be present during the demos to win door prizes. So even if you're registered, you do actually have to, at least say that you're on the page. So just something to consider. That's again Sunday, May 17th. Let's keep turning this. We're getting close. Hey Patrick, the handles I'm using, yeah. The one thing I've noticed, it is nice because you can kind of index. There's ridges and grooves here. You can kind of index. The one thing that I need to start to trust the tool a little more, just because I mean this is a new tool that I'm using. I've used it on a couple pens and I've tested it a little bit, but I'm used to working with a longer handle. But the one thing I've noticed is I'm really gripping down quite hard, just and it's actually tiring me out. But that's a me not being familiar with the tool. That's not a tool malfunction. That's a new tool that I'm trying to use. Um, Deal. So, well, let's go. I might not spend too much more time with this tool just because I might go 120 grit gouge soon. Now, just because I'm a little more comfortable with one of my other tools, I am going to switch over, but that's not because the negative rake magical skew isn't working. It's because I'm just a little more comfortable with using my other tool. I'm going to get this a little closer to the bushings, and then I'm going to go ahead and sand from there. This pen's going to end up looking awesome, and I don't want to have a blowout on this one, so that's the other reason I'm switching tools, just not because I think I'll blow out the blank with the magical skew, but rather just because it's because this is something I'm used to and familiar with. We're getting close. I think I need to start taking real light cuts. This blank, it's easy to see, or I shouldn't say see, it's easy to feel the difference between the resin and the sweet gum pod. You can actually feel the change in texture when you move your tool across the blank. So you have to be real careful with that. But just like most any other pens, fast speeds, light cuts, and sharp tools, you'll be fine. Yeah, and again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the negative rake magical skew. It's just that it's a new tool for me, so I'm still getting used to it. It's not that I'm, it's not that it's a bad tool or anything like that at all. So I'm gonna just take a couple more passes, and then I'm gonna break out the sandpaper to get down to the bushings, because the last thing I want to do is blow this pen blank apart. I never claimed to be a fast turner. It takes me a little bit of time. I'm still fairly proud of the bushings, but I'm going to go ahead and break out some 120 grit sandpaper. Yeah, spend more time creating a good pen or great pen rather than 20 or 30 minutes creating a mediocre pen. So just grabbing some 120 grit paper. I'm going to take a Sharpie and actually mark it 120, because even though it has it on the back here, after so long, if the back gets dirty or dusty or whatever, sometimes it's hard to see, so it's easy for me to see 120. Todd, I am using the new Rode Go. I have the transmitter up top, and then I have the mic clipped on my shirt. How does the audio sound? Does it sound okay for the most part? I'm actually going to sand in reverse and turn the speed down a decent amount. Let's go ahead and start sanding this. Usually when I go to sand, if I'm not videoing or doing a live event, I have a dust collector going, but because that makes quite a bit of noise, I decided not to use it today. Hey, Steph. Moon Pie Creations. Ken's a good guy. Unfortunately, he just broke his hand. So hopefully he heals quick. Hopefully he heals quickly because I like to watch his bowl creations. Thanks, Patrick. Hope you feel better soon. Yeah, yeah, Todd, I have the patch adapter as well. Um, I think it was good in the test on Sunday, so hopefully it's still okay now. We've got some more sanding to do, so we're gonna get back to it. We're getting pretty close. We have just a little bit more to go. Probably about a fingernail worth on here that I can feel in terms of um, in terms of material we need to take off. So we'll keep going. right now I'm just checking to see where I'm at in terms of how much thickness I can need to remove. I'm a lot closer on this end than on this end, but I'm still not far from where I need to be. And get farther reference. Check one more time. We are just about there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand lengthwise across the blank with that, across the blank with the lathe off, and I'm going to rotate this slowly by hand just to change the swirl marks into straight scratch marks. And right now that's okay to have scratches in the blank because we're sanding. As we go through the grits, we will sand those out. We'll dry sand from 120 to about 400, and then we will micro mesh. Micro mesh is more or less a wet sanding system. It goes from about 1,500 to 12,000. So here I sand with Abernet. I'm going to turn the lathe way down for this one. I usually like to sand somewhere between 500 and 700 RPMs when I'm sanding. All right, I am sanding in reverse. My lathe is forward and reverse, so I do that in reverse. Turn that way down. And now that I'm at the bushings, I just spend some time getting the blank smooth. And when you sand, whether it's a dry sand or a wet sand, you never want to stay in one place for too long, because you could sand a flat spot in, or you could blow the blank out, or it wouldn't be as good as it could be. So you just want to you can work in one general area, like I could focus on this side of the blank, or I could focus on the other side of the blank, but either way, I just want to keep moving. Okay, so now that I am done with this grit, again, I'm just going to, by hand with the lathe off, sand across the blank. And this is just what I do. This is just what works for me. There are other people who will do it differently, and that's fine because they have found what works for them. That's not a problem. Now I'm going to go on to the next grit. The next grit's going to be 180, and we're going to do the same thing. Turn the lathe off, sand by hand along the length of the blank. Moving on. 240. We have 240 then 320, then 400. Turn the lathe off, sand along the blank. It's just a lot of repetition at this point. And I actually forgot a step earlier. Because this is a hybrid, I'm going to do a CA finish. So I'm going to do the CA finish after 400 grit, dry sand, and then we will micro mesh. Again, with this blank, I cast some sweet gum pod in Alumalite Clear Slow, and the pigments I used were Divine pigments from Braxton Frankenberry over at Divine Island Design. This blank is made up of sweet gum pod and then orange and yellow. It's mainly orange with some yellow accents. So 400 grit sandpaper. This sandpaper is Abernet, and I really enjoy using it. Okay, now that we are done with the dry sanding, I'm going to swap out my turn between center bushings for the mandrel. Let's put this right there. My knockout bar is hiding from me. There it is. I'm going to take out this dead center. Mandrel. And now we need non-stick bushings. Take off the turn between center bushings. There we go. If this was actually the magic of YouTube, we could edit all this out, but instead we decided to do this live, so you get to see exactly what it looks like in real time. Aren't you guys lucky? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of denatured alcohol, and I am going to clean this blank off. And while the blank is drying off from the denatured alcohol, I'm going to go ahead and prep for my CA finish. Denatured alcohol, when you clean the blank off, also gives you a pretty good idea of what the blank is going to look like with a finish on it. So that's another reason you should clean your blanks off with DNA. It gets the dust out, but it also gives you an idea of what it's going to actually look like. So that's pretty cool. I'm just ripping sheets of paper towel for our CA finish. So what we have left is we have our CA finish, we have micro mesh, and then we have polish. And then after polish, we can go ahead and we will be able to assemble the pen. So we are getting close. Sometimes my CA cap gets a little stuck there. But we're good to go now. Just dropping all kinds of stuff tonight. Alright. Alright, let's take a look at this. Oh yeah. Looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and turn this lathe down even further, because when I apply CA, I apply it at the lowest speed my lathe will go, which is usually right around 210 or so. Let's take a look at the live chat. It's Matt Ralph. What's up? We're turning a pen tonight. All right, so I was a little late getting on here because I had some technical difficulties. I was going to use a streaming service, and then they said you have to start it from your laptop or desktop, and I'm like, I'm on my phone, I can't do that. So it took me a second. So I will have a more full description after this live feed ends. I will have Amazon affiliate links. So if you buy anything using my Amazon affiliate links, I get a small percentage of that, which helps the shop out. It allows me to keep doing this kind of stuff. So if I have a link down there, if you click on it, whatever shows up, whatever that tool is, even if you don't buy that specific product, when you use that link, whatever you put in your cart and whatever you purchase, I get a small cut of that. So that definitely helps out for sure. All right, so now we have our blank cleaned off with denatured alcohol, and it's evaporated off. So we are ready to start our CA finish. I am going to put a towel down just to protect the lathe a bit. And let's get started. The lathe is spinning 205, so 205 RPM. It's about where we're at right now. So I'm going to wipe this on, and then I'm going to hit the blank with some accelerator. Just a couple quick spritzes, and we're good to go to the next coat. I do 7 coats of thin Mercury Flex CA with activator in between each coat. So this is coat number 2. You wipe it on, activator, and move on. Coat 3. You don't want to keep your towel on the blank because this is a super glue finish, so if super glue has a chance to bond two things, guess where your paper towel is going to end up? That's right, it's going to end up on your pen, and your finish is going to look not fun. And then you're going to get to sand down to the resin and start again. There's 5. Six. And 7. Now, everybody has their own way of doing things. They have their own processes. So, you know, if you're into turning pens, or, you know, even if you're making things, find what works for you, find what you're comfortable with, and then go with that. So, you know, just because I do it one way doesn't make it right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, somebody who has more experience than me or less experience than me might have a better way to do it. Whether that's a CA finish, whether that's, you know, turning, whether that's whatever. Okay. Angie, 7 coats of thin CA. I use Mercury Thin Flex. Here's what I use. This bottle's almost out. I have another bottle over here, but I just use 7 coats of this and spray it with spray activator in between each coat. I know guys who do 5 to 7 coats of thin and then 4 or 5 or 6 coats of medium. It just depends on what they like. So, but yeah, Thin Flex is what I like to use, at least for a finish. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that, because, you know, this is just fun stress relief for me. So, all right, now that we have our CA finish on here, I'm going to break out the micro mesh. Micro mesh are sanding pads. There are 9 of them. They look like this with different colors. So I usually turn up the lathe to about 1200 RPMs for this, and I just lightly wet sand for 10 seconds or so. Maybe not even that. I count to 10, but it's not necessarily a hard 10 seconds or whatever. I just count to 10 and call it good. So let's go ahead and get that started. Get the lathe up to speed. And I'm just sanding I'm sanding lightly because I don't want to take the finish off. I just want to smooth it out. If I end up taking the finish off, and sand through the finish, I have completely wasted my time on the previous step. Sometimes these micro mesh pads stick together a little bit, and it takes a minute to get them separated, but it's not too bad. Even though it is a wet sanding, it is still sanding, so just like I said before, you want to keep moving when you're sanding. You don't want to stay in one spot for too long, so you could wear through the finish or wear through whatever you're working. Two more here. Got this blue pad and we've got a pink pad. So that's micro mesh. Now, because I did wet sand, the blank is wet. So I'm actually going to take just a piece of shop towel or a piece of paper towel, whatever you have handy. For me, it's a shop towel. And I'm just going to clean this blank off, or I should say dry the blank off, because we're getting ready to full polish. So you can see I just took some moisture off the blank. Now that our CA finish is done and we've wet sanded, I'm going to turn the lathe off. I'm just going to dry this by hand just to make sure that we don't have anything weird going on. Man, this is going to be sharp. All right. I like the water bottle you use. It keeps the water clean between grits. You know, I actually, Todd, when you said you dip your pads into a bucket of water, but that gets dirty from the lower grits, that's exactly why I switched. All I did was I went to Woodcraft and got this super cheap water bottle. I think it was $2 or something. I actually picked up I picked up that trick from Jason Rose. He's one of the organizers for the virtual pen turners gathering. So I decided to switch to that. You know, Angie, I can't say that it's my idea. Like I said, I got that little nugget from a fellow turner from Jason Rose. So it's not my original idea, but I am using it. All right, so now we're going to polish this blank. So if you have been around for a couple of my lives over on Facebook, you know that I use the Novus polishing system. So Novus 3 is going to be a heavy scratch remover. Novus 2 is going to be a fine scratch remover, as I almost throw it across the shop. And then Novus 1 is the polish. So the way this is going to work, I have some scraps of shop towel here. I'm going to keep the lathe the same speed. I'm just going to fold a clean sheet of clean section of shop towel. I'm going to turn the lathe on, and I'm just going to work this in. I'm going to work in a little bit here. Sometimes these bottles get really clogged up, but a toothpick usually cleans them right out. So I just have a little dot on here, and I just put it on the blank, and then I work this in and just let it do its thing. There's no necessarily set amount of time for this. I just look at it until it seems like it's worked in fairly well. I might add a touch more if I was a little bit light the first time. Now it's going to choose to go really low. I have to use my toothpick to clean out that nozzle. So after I work this in for a little while, I go ahead and I fold my towel over, or I find a clean section of towel that isn't used, and I just go once over with not a lot of pressure, but firm pressure, and I just more or less buff it off and take it off. And that's Novus 3. I moved to Novus 2, and with Novus 2 it's the same exact procedure. I fold a piece of paper towel, I put a little bit on the paper towel. Now Novus 2 is more of a brown color, it's not white like Novus 3, but I do the same thing. I work in the Novus 2 for a little while, at least until I think it's been sufficiently worked in there. And some blanks need it more than others. It just all depends on how your finish went. And again, this isn't sanding, but it's the same idea as sanding on a CA finish, where you don't want to stay in one spot for any length of time. You just want to keep moving, you want to keep working on the product. And then again, I'm going to fold this over, find a dry spot that isn't used, and then I'm just going to apply pressure to buff off whatever is still on there. I might do that even a second time. If you guys haven't figured out, I'm super stingy with my shop towels. I'm cheap. And then Novus 1. Novus 1 is the polish, so I'm going to fold a piece of paper towel. I'm going to squirt a little bit of polish on the towel, and then I'm just going to work this in. And this is just the polish, this isn't a scratch remover, so we don't need to spend a whole lot of time here. I know a lot of turners use certain car waxes or other types of polishes or finishes. Again, it's just whatever works for them. I found this gives me a pretty decent result that I'm happy with. I can also tell you that this is not the first process that I've had. I have had other, I have revised my process as I've gone through my turning journey the last couple of years. So is this the turning process that is this the finishing process that I will use forever? Who knows? I mean, this isn't the first one, so it probably won't be the last one. Now I'm just going to dry the blank one more time if there was any moisture from the polish. And this blank is turned, sanded, finished, and polished. We're almost ready for assembly. I'm going to move you guys in for a little better shot here. Okay, so if you hang on for just a second. Sorry, guys. Here's a look at what the blank looks like now. Dave, we're gonna press this into a pen real soon. There's what the pen looks like currently. You can see the sweet gum pods there and there. So we're gonna take this off the lathe and we are going to press this into a pen. So I'm going to move you guys one more time, so bear with me. Todd, I got your message. I will read it after the live stream. We'll be done soon. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. This one was a lot of fun. Sorry, guys. I'm a one-man crew. Here are the blanks that I was talking about earlier. These are available. I do have 3 more of the yellow and orange like we turned tonight. I've got a couple of these like reddish and blue ones, and then these blue and yellow ones. There might be some purple in there even. But let's go take the pen blank off the lathe. Get this thing pressed into a pen. All right, there's the blank. Now I need to get a 220 grit piece of paper real quick. So I'm going to grab that over here. My shop is a disaster. I'm trying to clean it up. Hopefully sooner than later. Here's a close-up of the blank that we just turned. Now, if you notice, there's a fingernail of CA right there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the 220 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to lightly, in a circular motion and an even motion, sand that fingernail off. And now, sorry guys, And now you can see that that fingernail is basically gone. So I'm just going to do that to the other side. And again, our fingernail is gone, and we're good to assemble this. Why doesn't anyone ever turn rings? Brown's Garage Creations Brown. So, funny, I don't know if you noticed or not, yesterday I actually just got the stuff to turn rings. So these are the 3 bushings that I got, and then I have some cores over here. So I'm hoping sooner than later that once I get comfortable turning a few of these rings, I hope to add that to the Tuesday night live stream. So we'll be live here on Tuesdays, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Basically for as long as quarantine exists. Take our components out of the bag. This is only the second executive I've ever assembled, so I'll be checking out the diagram. So the reason I moved my live streams from Facebook to YouTube is because I just recently passed 1,000 subscribers, and I am looking to get my watch time up. So hopefully these live streams help that some. It was crazy because about a week ago, I was only at like 820 subscribers, and I was editing a video, and all of a sudden, my phone kept going off. This person is subscribed, that person is subscribed, this person commented, that person commented. And I thought, what is going on? Well, Bob over at RJB Woodturner, he is the reason I'm into pen turning and making in general. He has his main channel, RJB Woodturner. That's how I got into turning pens. Well, he has a second channel called What You Doing, Bob? And he put a shout out on that channel basically shouted me out and said, help him get to 1,000. And within, 3 or 4 days, I went from 820 to over 1,000. So it has been crazy. So I greatly appreciate him. I appreciate all of the people who are subscribers of Bob who came over. I appreciate you guys more than you guys realize. You guys are awesome. I've been watching Bob for a long time. He's a good friend. And I owe him big. So that's basically the story behind, that's the short story behind why we moved to YouTube. All right, so let me look at this real quick. And I think I pretty much have this right. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do first. First, we're gonna press this clip portion into this blank. Now, I want my clip to run down, I'm gonna put it right here, just because there's a little less visual interest there, and the main sweet gum pot is on this side, so I'm gonna put the clip right about there. So let's go ahead and do that. This Miles Craft pen press has been a huge, huge game changer for me. It ended up being a birthday present because somebody, being me, dropped some not so subtle hints to an amazing wife, and that's how I ended up with this pen press. All right, so there's the clip assembly. Now we are going to insert the front end here. We might need to adjust this just a little bit, sure enough. Adjustments on this pen press are exceptionally easier than my old pen press. My old pen press was, it served me well, but just like anything else, it was time to upgrade. So there we have it. Okay, now that we have this pressed, we're going to take this cap off. You don't want to lose the spring, because there have definitely been times where I have shot springs across this shop and they went into some abyss that they went into the Bermuda Triangle, and I've never seen them since. Now this transmission is threaded on the gold end, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get this to line up. There it goes. Now we're on there. And I'm just going to test this. I'm going to test the action of this transmission. And you can see we can extend and retract. So that's good. Extend, retract, extend, retract, so we're good. And now this top piece just gets pushed on like that. You just need to, you can just push it by hand. There we go. And then you've got a working pen. So there we have it. There's the pen. I will try and get better pictures of this and put them on Instagram if you guys are interested. I do have a few more of these sweet gum blanks available if you guys are interested. I also have other types of blanks, so those are available. Yeah. Dave, Todd. Yes, thanks, Todd. I really appreciate you putting the channels in the comments. Angie, Steph. Yeah, Todd, the long barrel, I really like long barrel pens. I've turned quite a few Zens. That's a great rollerball kit for a long barrel pen. The Executive is an awesome ballpoint option. So I just really, I enjoy those. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight for this one. I know I was a little later than 5, and we're going on quite a while here, so I'm going to wrap this up. But thanks for sticking around. Now that I have the bugs worked out, we'll be on time next week, hopefully. So we will plan on doing this again on Tuesday next week, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Is that a decent time for you guys, or do you think I should move it a little bit? Hey Doug, what's up? We just got done turning this Executive twist pen. It's a Sweet Gum Pod blank. Sorry, the shop lighting isn't the best. I'm hoping to remedy that with a new shop soon. But this will actually be a pen that is an example pen for a demo that I'm doing. There's a virtual pen turners gathering. If you guys have been here the whole time, thanks for hanging out. If you're just getting here late, that's okay. I'm going to be a demonstrator at the virtual pen turners gathering. If you go to facebook.com/virtual gathering, May 17th, I will be doing a hybrid casting demo. It'll either be sweet gum pod like this, the casting portion of it. I use Alumilite Clear Slow resin, or it'll be pine cone blanks. I have a pine cone blank ready to go. I cross cut my pine cones, so those look, I like the way they look, and I figure I should probably live up to my Crosscut Creations name. So yeah, that's where we're at. So facebook.com/virtual gathering gets you to the virtual pen turners gathering page. Like that page. If you want a chance to win door prizes and things like that, fill out the Google form to register. It's absolutely free, and that's Sunday, May 17th. A bunch of us guys are going to be doing demos and giveaways. It starts at about noon. It'll run until probably 6 or so. So yeah, if you guys have any more comments, I'll stay on here as long as you guys want to have a conversation. But if you guys are ready to, call it a night, I can do that too. Doug, this shop, no matter how hard I try, it's a disaster, and I'm sure people give me garbage for it all the time. But the truth is, it's a working shop, and as much as I try to, clean up after each project at some point, I'm hoping very, very, very soon in the near future, there's a garage shop. We're working with somebody now, but we'll see. Steph, is it one of your personal cast blanks? These blanks are ones that I did cast. So yeah, I might be a little biased, but I'm pretty proud of them. There was a little less yellow than I would have hoped, but the yellow I think is a nice accent. Again, it's hard to see, but there is some yellow in there. All right. Mind you, I look at mine and it goes hurricane looking. Yeah, especially when you throw those resin shavings all over the shop, especially when you're turning bowls. I think I have a mess when I turn a pen. I can only imagine what cleanup is like after a bowl. One day I want to do a resin bowl, or at least a hybrid bowl, but I'm not quite there yet. So one day. Okay. Well, with that being that we've been on here for a little more than an hour and a half, I'm gonna head out. You guys have you guys have a good night. Doug, wetwood is even worse than resin. I believe it, because then you get all kinds of stuff. So yeah. So I'm going to call it here. This was a great learning experience. As a first official live stream, I know what I'm going to do different next time. So hopefully next Tuesday will be even better. So you guys have a good one, and we'll see you next time. Okay. Thanks for